Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I will be talking about Chase Young doing some off-season workouts with Buffalo Bills defensive end Von Miller. I'll show you guys the clip that Von Miller posted on his Instagram of the two working out, and I'll also give you guys some kind of injury news on Chase Young, a perspective from a doctor on how long it's going to take for Chase Young to come back. So all of that and more in today's video. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content on the road to 8,000 subscribers. We're really close, so please help me get there. Also hit that like button and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. And sorry for getting this video out. I've been on vacation and haven't had access to Wi-Fi in a couple of days because I was on a camping trip. So sorry for the late video. But while I was gone, Chase Young was, doing some off-season workouts with two-time Super Bowl champion Von Miller, and you absolutely love to see it. Chase Young working out with one of the best edge rushers in the league and one of the best edge rushers of the last decade. Learning some tips and tricks from one of those guys is really, really good to do for Von Miller. And also I did some research on it. Von Miller did tear his ACL in 2013, so relatively early in his career, just like Chase Young's. And it was a while ago, almost 10 years ago, but still Chase Young's going to be able to get some tips from Von Miller on that too, on the recovery process for the ACL. So I really, really love this by Chase Young. And yeah, we'll see if he's going to be, we'll talk about it later, if he's going to be ready for the start of the season, but I like the approach he's taking this offseason. Kind of quiet, but also working with some big name guys. And Von Miller is someone you definitely want to learn from. Also Von Miller did play under Jack Del Rio as well, and Jack Del Rio was able to get a lot out of Von Miller in his first couple years in Denver. So let's hope Jack Del Rio is able to do the same thing for Chase Young, and let's hope Chase Young was able to get some tricks from Von Miller, because like I said earlier, Von Miller over the last 10 years has been one of the best edge rushers in all of football. Won a Super Bowl MVP obviously with the Broncos, and this past season was crucial for the Rams in terms of them winning their Super Bowl. Now is on the Bills and still one of the best really, really good pass rusher in this league, and he has a lot of knowledge that can help Chase Young out. And hopefully Chase Young's able to take this in, because last year, the first half of the year was struggling a little bit, in terms of getting pressure on the quarterback. He was still really good in the run game. He was really good in the run game in his rookie year, but he just wasn't getting as much pressure as he did in the second half of his rookie year. And I think John Kimes talked about this a lot, but a lot of that has to do possibly with his stutter step. He wasn't really getting much, any pressure at all when he's doing the stutter step this year. And also it seemed like he was kind of lining up on the wrong side sometimes. Like, I can't remember which side it was, but if you watch back the highlights from 2020, almost all of his sacks were on one side, and this year he was more on the other side, so that also could have something to do with it. But I think a lot of it is the approach, and learning under someone like Von Miller can really help him, get that right mindset, get that right approach for what he's going to do every snap, and develop some pass rush moves, and also recover from the ACL in terms of like what things he needs to do. But I also think Washington, and I guess they did sign a veteran in Efe Obada, but he's kind of different because he started playing football really, really late because he came from the International Pathway program. I think they need to sign a veteran pass rusher to help in that room. I thought Melvin Ingram would be a really good signing, but he got signed. Someone like that who isn't going to be dominant but can come in there if one of those guys gets hurt and can produce at a solid level. But if not, just come off the bench and just help Chase Young and Montez Sweat, just help them out in terms of, these tips and tricks, their approach, because they had Ryan Kerrigan in the room in Chase Young's rookie year and Montez Sweat's first 2 years. And I feel like that really helped both of those guys kind of develop really well in their first couple years. So real quick, I'll show you guys the clip from Von Miller on his Instagram. Okay, so here's the clip from Von Miller and Chase Young, and sadly, there's really not any great Chase Young clips. It's really just him in the background, because this is Von Miller's Instagram, and he just posted kind of a 40-second video, and most of it was just him with, a couple clips with Chase Young in the background. So unfortunately, we don't get to see any Chase Young clips, but you at least see him there. And in the clips, you can you see him right here. Looks fit, of course. Chase Young's always look fit. You don't see a knee brace, so I think that's good news. I mean, I think we saw him a couple other times and he didn't have a knee brace, and one other time where he did have a knee brace. So, but it is good at this point in June where he doesn't have a knee brace. But I mean, if he plays in a game, he's probably going to have a knee brace. I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor, of course, but who knows, coming off the ACL injuries. But I'm assuming Chase Young is doing most of the drills that Von Miller's doing, but he just didn't post it on Instagram. And that's kind of another thing. Like, I really don't mind if players post their stuff on Instagram, especially a few times in off season. I think when they post it every day or every 2 days, that's when it gets a little bit overboard. But, Chase Young really hasn't posted anything this whole offseason, and I kind of like that approach. I don't mind if players post stuff, but I kind of like that approach by Chase Young because people were kind of criticizing him last year for posting too much, even though he really didn't post that much. But I'm excited to see what Chase Young can do this year. A lot of people are doubting him, and I mean, yeah, he didn't have a great year to start the season off, but again, it was only 8 games. It was only an 8-game stretch. Who knows what he would have done in the second half of the season. But this year, let's say even if he does start off the season on the 53-man roster and he's playing, he's not on IR, he's going to start off a little bit slow. And I think that is reasonable if he's playing. But I think over that second half of the season, that's when you want him, you want to see that sack production and that pass rush ability, those pressures, those QB hits. That's when you really want to see him. That's when you really want to, grade him in terms of his production. You don't really want to take too much into account the first half of the year, because if he's playing the first half of the year, it's not going to be at 100%. Even in the second half of the season, he might not be fully 100%. It's totally different positions, but if you look at Joe Burrow from last year, the first half of the season coming off an ACL injury, he was solid, but he wasn't great. The second half, outstanding. And again, totally different positions. Edge rushers have, you need a lot more explosiveness, but still, I think over the second half of the season, Chase Young will get a lot of that stuff back. So here is a quick snippet of, Ben Standig's article from The Athletic. I'll leave the link in the description. There's a lot more stuff besides this, but there's a quick nugget on Chase Young's injury. So this is what, Chase Young said: I wouldn't put a timetable on my recovery. Obviously, I want to be back there as fast as I can, but right now, I'm just taking it one day at a time, and I'm getting better fast. I can't rush it. And then, Ben Standig talked to someone, an orthopedic surgeon, and, in Los Angeles, and they said the patellar tendon graft is a little bit surprising since such a procedure is not typically done unless the individual has an issue with the patellar tendon of the affected leg. Without having examined Young, sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, Sopi does not imagine the procedure involving the contralateral patellar tendon would add to a standout ACL recovery timeline of 9 to 12 months. However, anything beyond the 9 to 12 month marker could bring an injured reserve stint into play. I think for pass rusher, how explosive you are off the line is one of the most important things. I think that explosiveness is the thing that probably will come back last. So again, that could take a while for him to, come back to, and he could be, playing, but still not, totally 100% in terms of, game feel, because it's going to take a while for him to get used to everything coming back and not playing football for an entire year. So definitely going to be interesting. I don't think they should necessarily rush Chase Young back. Don't play him, because they can, they can have him out for the first few weeks, and you don't want him to be back unless he's 100%. And I would hope they're able to beat the Jaguars and Lions without Chase Young. And so let's say he's out for those 2 weeks and maybe a couple more weeks after that. And who knows? We'll see. It's way too early. I've kind of been saying, I think Chase Young's going to be ready to start the season. Now, more and more, I'm thinking probably not, but I'm probably not going to give us, not going to make a prediction until we really see him in training camp and stuff like that, because he's definitely going to start training camp off on the PUP list. But we'll see how long it takes to, for him to come off of that. I don't think he'll be on the PUP list to start the season off, because I think that's 6 to 8 weeks, and I don't think he'll be out for that long. I'm hoping not at the very least, because we're going to need him. We're going to need him, Montez Sweat, this whole defensive line. And I like Efe Obada and James Smith-Williams, but they're no Chase Young and Montez Sweat. So not only am I hoping Chase Young is, healthy and has a speedy recovery, but I'm also hoping he has a big second year or third year, and more so the second half of that year, because again, he's coming off of a major injury that happened, after the second half of last year, during the second half of last year. So, we can't expect him to be that defensive player of the year in the first few weeks of the season, once he's back from that injury. So let me know what you guys think about Chase Young, how long you think it's going to take for him to come back, and what are your expectations for him in his third year. Also, if anything comes out from Chase, clips from Chase Young, I'll probably just, throw quick clip up on YouTube, 30-45 second thing from the workouts with Von Miller. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.